the number one thing they can learn is how to sell in a store.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
A couple of years, maybe even less if you're really good at it. Get a good boss in a store of a brand. I don't really even care if you like the product. Just go learn how to sell and get a great boss. It will change your life.
Yeah.
That is not the world we live in. You can't say that the job description you wrote 3 years ago for this job is the same job description you should have today. There's never been a more important time to simultaneously learn about technology as learn how to optimize the human potential of your team. Okay. I sit across from a candidate too, and I'm like, just tell me your story. That's my question. I usually have one question. Tell me your story. I think one skill that is learned in retail that there's nowhere else in the corporate world that you will learn is how to sell.
Welcome to Blade to Greatness, the podcast where retail leaders sharpen their edge one essential skill at a time as we uncover the essential traits every retail leader needs to thrive. I'm Ricardo Belmar.
And I'm Casey Golden. This season, we're joined by a guest each week who shines a light on a single leadership skill that every retail leader must master. And today's conversation is, of course, about the future and why the skills that will matter the most tomorrow are being built right on the sales floor today.
Our guest is Ron Thurston, best-selling author of Retail Pride and Human Pride, former senior retail executive, host of the podcast Frontline Fridays and Retail in America, and one of the most respected voices in our industry. Ron makes a powerful case that while AI may be transforming retail, the most resilient leaders are the ones who master human-centric skills: communication, empathy, adaptability, and influence.
And he's a master because I can't even hear his name without smiling.
That's right.
So you'll hear why Frontline Retail is the ultimate leadership training ground, the future-ready skills every leader should be building now, and how to spot and nurture high-potential talent on your team.
And Ron doesn't just talk theory. He shares practical tips and tactics that every leader can put into action, turning every challenge into a coaching moment.
This episode is a roadmap for anyone who wants to future-proof their leadership and build skills that technology can't replace.
But first, let me tell you about our Retail Razor Podcast Network sponsor, Retail Club. Join 2,000 retail leaders at the Retail Club AI Festival, September 22nd to 24th in Huntington Beach. Dive deep into how AI is reshaping retail while soaking up the sun at a fully outdoor beachside venue. Decision makers from retailers and brands can attend with free tickets and up to $1,250 in travel reimbursement. Head to retailclub.com/retail-razor-podcast to learn more and get your ticket today. Thank you to Retail Club for helping us bring you this podcast and the other shows in the Retail Razor Podcast Network.
Now, before we dive in, we have a quick ask for you. We love our audience. If you like our show, please show us some love and give us a 5-star rating and drop a quick review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or Good Pods. We super appreciate your support.
And please do yourself a favor and check out the other shows in our Retail Razor Podcast Network if you haven't already. The Retail Razor Show, Retail Transformers, and Data Blades. You can find them in your favorite podcast player or visit our YouTube channel and find them all.
Now let's get into it.
Here's our conversation with Ron Thurston.
Ron, welcome back to another Blade to Greatness. We're always anxiously anticipating another episode with you on the show.
Thank you, Casey. Anxiously anticipating. I love that.
Yeah. Ricardo always. And I, we're having a mini war here over how many tongue twisters he
It always makes it more interesting and more fun for every new episode. Well, Ron, today we're going to talk about another very important concept that every retail leader should be aware of and seek to adopt: future-proofing skills that start on the sales floor. Now, we all seen all the stories and listened to all the podcasts where everyone talks about how AI is transforming retail, but the most resilient leaders tend to be the ones who master human-centric skills. Tell us why this is so important for retail leaders to understand.
Yeah, thanks, Ricardo. And I love this question because you're right. The easier part of how we think about the industry and the business is to think about the tools and the technology and the efficiencies and the optimizing technology to deliver performance. And that I understand and fully appreciate. But what we're not spending enough time on is optimizing the human potential of our teams. And so I spoke about this on your other Blade to Greatness. There's never been a more important time to simultaneously learn about technology as learn how to optimize the human potential of your team. These are the two fundamental leadership skills that everyone will need. And one doesn't exist without the other anymore. If you're not consciously digging into what every single person on your team excels at, is proud of, brings joy to work about it, shows up and is excited to do this work. If you don't know what that is from every single person, then you're going to miss the opportunity to optimize their performance. Mm-hmm. And when teams are small, optimizing everyone and learning that human connection, that ability to ask great questions, to be empathetic, is that skill that many people are maybe learning to do for the first time because technology has been their primary source of growth. And so now it's like, well, certainly we understand technology, but we've got to lean even heavier now into what it means to lead through optimizing everyone's human potential.
Mm-hmm. I used to feel that this was a belief system. I didn't think it was something you could teach. Mm-hmm. And over the past few years, I've really seen this as a personal development and teaching moment. And I do believe that these are skills that can be taught. And over time, it's more than just a belief system.
Yeah.
And now I've really started to adopt the mindset that it's an opportunity for development.
Right. And so there's a framework that I speak about this, Casey, in some of my work of connect, reveal, transform. And so what you're saying is, let's understand how to connect the dots of what work today is. How does that, what do you do every day? How has technology changed your work? Let's connect all the pieces of your current role. And then through that, the next phase of reveal. So let's reveal through this work. We've connected all the dots. Let's reveal what actually you're going to excel in. Are you leaning more in more human, empathetic curiosity, more human-centric leadership? Or are you really someone that thrives in technology-based, how the work is evolving so quickly? Let's reveal your true strengths. And I think this actually is a work that needs to be done regularly because the work today is changing so fast that you can't actually say, well, from now on, I'm going to put Casey in this bucket. I'm going to put Ricardo in this bucket. From now on, you're designated as these people. I think the transform is in this constant state of evolution all the time right now. And that as business changes, the world changes, technology changes, you reveal different strengths. And then it's about the transform is then let's put this together and transform a business, transform a team. Maybe you work in a different department because your skill set, you thought you were in like buying, planning, but you're actually much better in a more of a creative part of that business where someone else may say, I'm actually much better using AI to understand like buying and allocation plans. I really thrive on that, not the creativity of what color we should buy. So there's this sense of this constant state of connect, reveal, transform of everyone on your team. And I think it's very fluid but that requires great leadership and the ability to say, I want my team to, I'm optimizing their human performance. So I'm going to bring in tools that help them do that. And it's this constant state of change. And that is really uncomfortable, I would say, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of leaders that would just say, here are the jobs, here are the job titles I'm hiring for. If you don't fill the competencies on this job description, I'm not interested in you.
Yeah.
And it's very black and white. It's very binary. And that is not the world we live in. You can't say that the job description you wrote 3 years ago for this job is the same job description you should have today. It's not possible. It's not.
Right.
The world has changed. And the job description for a different generation might look different. So all of this is saying, well, the job has shifted. How we work is different. The team size is different. So let's be aware of that so that we can optimize everyone's abilities and that everyone's doing their best work.
Yeah. Ron, you've talked before how frontline retail is probably the ultimate leadership training ground. If you think about what's one specific, maybe overlooked skill that's developed as part of frontline retail that will really matter even more in this AI tool-based era.
I think one skill that is learned in retail that there's nowhere else in the corporate world that you will learn is how to sell. You learn how to sell. And I love this ability to say, I know how to sell myself. I know how to pitch my team. I know how to build relationships in a selling environment, which is with a stranger. I can sell something to a stranger. And that builds confidence. It builds credibility. It builds your communication skills. And you learn how to take defeat because people are going to say no. So it's the emotion of the sale. It's the emotion of I can connect, I can sell, I can take defeat, and I can move forward. And if you do that 20 times a day, which in any store you're doing at least that many times, if I can do that and I've developed the ability to connect with a stranger and sell them something in 3 minutes or less, that is a skill in any corporate environment you could use to your advantage. And that the only people that have that kind of hustle are people that come from stores. I believe that to be true. You just don't. There's no other place where you would develop that other than kind of being an entrepreneur or pitching a business or like you're developing something. But you don't become an entrepreneur overnight. You learn how to do that. You learn how to pitch and sell your business, likely because you came from an environment where you had to sell everything. And it's uncomfortable. It's scary. I've had new hires that you put them in the front of the store and all you have to do is say hello, that are terrified and go like run and hide in the corner instead. It's petrifying. And over time, it's like, well, I can say hello to strangers and know that half of them are going to ignore me and that nobody cares that I'm saying hello to them. So you develop this sense of confidence and what's the word? Like a shell of like, don't worry about it. You're going to talk on your phone and ignore me. It's cool, whatever. Like I'm going to go talk to this person. So there's this air of like, I can handle this. And that only comes in retail. And that's a skill. I'm doing some work now with NRF Foundation, and we're calling it a retail accelerator program. So I've got the presidents of all of the NRF clubs at universities all across the country on a weekly call. And most of them are, if they're not already, they will by the time I'm done with them, work in a store.
Oh, I love that.
That's amazing.
What?
Love that.
Of course. And we've got guest speakers, and I really want this immersion into what does like a retail accelerator program look like? Why should you work in this business? And no matter what they want to do, and they're in supply chain, buying, planning, design, every part of this industry. There are students studying these worlds, but the number one thing they can learn is how to sell in a store. That's it. A couple of years, maybe even less if you're really good at it. Get a good boss in a store of a brand. I don't really even care if you like the product. Just go learn how to sell and get a great boss, it will change your life.
Yeah.
And they don't always believe me, I would say, because it sounds really hard.
Yeah.
And it sounds pretty terrifying. But if you do that, you've changed your life. Think about it. You become a better candidate. All of these students are about to either get internships, they're pitching for internships, or maybe their first job. You are such a better candidate because you know how to sell. You can speak confidently about yourself and the skills that you have. So you've learned how to sell yourself. And in this kind of professional world that requires you to be better than everybody else right now. It does.
And I think it also provides that like self-agency. Like you become a better advocate for your own self throughout your life, regardless of your career.
Yep, agree. It's a long answer to your question, Ricardo, but I'm very passionate about this topic because you can see the difference in people.
Yeah.
I sit across from a candidate too, and I would, I don't generally look at a resume. I'm like, just tell me your story. That's my question. I usually have one question. Tell me your story. Some people can answer that question, and some people are like, what do you mean? Where do I start? Tell me your story. Tell me.
Yeah.
And if they literally were 3 minutes in and they can't answer that question, I'm like, it's super great to meet you. Thank you. We likely will not be moving forward with your application.
Yeah.
You can answer that question after you've sold at a retail store for a couple of years.
Yeah. Right.
Let me tell you my story. I worked here and this is what happened.
Yeah.
That you've got some scars to prove that. It makes you much more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's one skill that AI can help improve the store team members that would serve them into future roles?
Yeah. I think the efficiencies of things like processes, policies, operations, when you think about the days of binders in the back room, data that was in 14 different places, all the different reporting, all the ways we communicated, it's been really inconsistent. We'll just say by brand, even by store. Everyone communicates in a different way. Technology helps us ask just a question and get an answer to anything. So in kind of store ops world, you can upload all of that information and have it at someone's fingertips. That is life-changing in a world where speed is everything. Time is everything. Customers standing in front of you wants an answer of, where's my product?
Yeah.
If it's in another store, do they have it? How quickly can I get it? What's your policy on this? This accident just happened in the store. What do I do? I just had something happen around asset protection. Now what? If I can answer those questions in a matter of seconds, instead of, oh my God, where's the store operations binder? What page is that? Oh, that page is missing from the binder. That's been the life of retail for a long time. And so let's solve all of those challenges with technology to give you time back for your customers. No problem. Okay, see, let me just check here. Oh, I see we have this and this. Yeah. It's going to happen. We can put it on your account and take care of it. That's building loyalty, and that's how you build business using great human connection that's enabled by technology.
Yep, that's so true. It's so true. Well, Ron, this has been another amazing discussion. Thanks so much for sharing your thoughts on this topic with us today. It's just so important for retail leaders to recognize these human-centric skills that are so well developed in the sales floor, but can impact so many other things that they do just beyond the technology alone.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Ricardo and Casey.
It's a wrap. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Good Pods. And don't forget to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube so you never miss an episode. I'm Casey Golden.
We'd love to hear from you. Follow us and share your feedback at Retail Razor on LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our Substack newsletter for highlights from every episode and visit retailrazor.com for transcripts and more details about our guests. Blade to Greatness is part of the Retail Razor Podcast Network. I'm Ricardo Belmar.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, stay sharp, lead boldly, and stay human. This is the Retail Razor Blade to Greatness.